Hello and welcome to Inside Healthcare. We're coming to you from inside the urgency room at Venice Heights to talk about what doctors are seeing with kids and some advice for parents at this time of the year. And we're pleased to have with us Dr. Kristi Trussell. Thank you for being with us, the Assistant Medical Director here at the urgency room. So, back to school, is that what's causing some? We're seeing some issues related to abdominal pain, stomach pain. What is that all about?
Well, sometimes we see kids at the beginning of the school year that have some new symptoms, and abdominal pain or headaches, or sometimes can be a manifestation of nervousness or anxiety. There's overlap between physical and mental health, and so certainly nervousness about new situation, new teacher, new classroom can bring out some of those things in children.
And those would be some of the most common causes of these symptoms that you might see at this time of the year then?
Well, I think that for abdominal pain can be caused by so many things. I think we have to be very careful about attributing it to nervousness up front, but certainly after an evaluation by a doctor, that's something that can commonly cause symptoms.
What advice would you have for parents if they've noticed some of these symptoms with their child? What should they do initially?
So I think it really depends for a child. If it's an acute episode of abdominal pain where it's a one day where the abdominal pain comes and is bad and progresses and gets worse and worse throughout the day, that's something that needs to be checked out right away. If it seems like a more mild symptom that comes and goes and is more associated with certain situations, keeping a diary of those symptoms over time and then talking with your regular doctor about those is really important.
And at what point would you take them to see the doctor? You were saying initially that, or coming to the urgency room to see an emergency care physician.
Yeah, so if your child has abdominal pain that's severe, that comes, stays, and gets progressively worse through a single day, that's a reason to come see us at the urgency room.
It could be something more serious than that.
Right. Things that we worry about for abdominal pain can range a whole host of things, from a urinary tract infection, a bowel obstruction, or even very serious appendicitis.
If it's being caused by constipation, what advice what should parents be doing to prevent that at least?
So constipation causes a lot of abdominal pain in kids. We see that all the time at the urgency room. Simply monitoring your child's bowel movements. Are they having a hard time passing the stool? Is the stool hard or looks like little pebbles when it passes? Those are some common signs of constipation. Keeping ahead of constipation is really the key. So increasing fiber in the diet with fresh fruits and vegetables, limiting processed food, and drinking enough water are really the main things. If constipation is a longer term problem, then talking to your doctor about medications such as Miralax or stool softeners can help over the long term, but really upfront prevention is key with proper diet.
And if that isn't enough, then come see a physician.
Exactly, yes. If you've increased fruits and vegetables and fiber and water and constipation is still an issue, then talking with your doctor about medications for constipation is important.
What would be some other things that you might see at this time of the year with kids coming into the urgency room?
Well, as we go back to school, kids are exposed to each other, so it's really the beginning of strep throat and colds and just the regular contagious diseases that we see in kids. So really good hand washing is really the main thing for preventing these things, and keeping your child home if they are sick to avoid exposing others.
Yeah, and getting the right amount of sleep, I would think, is really key too, which is really hard at this time, going through that change from summertime to school and things like that.
It's a big change to get back on your regular schedules, get back in your routine. So taking some time in the evening to wind down, making sure kids are getting to bed early so they're fresh in the morning for getting up to school is really important.
So other things, advice for parents out there that their child's going back to school or starting school for the first time, things that they should keep in mind?
Well, I think just making sure that your child is comfortable in their new school environment, being really involved, getting to know the teacher, getting to know the classroom and the other kids and parents to make it, school should really be a family affair to make sure the child is comfortable and learning well.
And just a little bit about the urgency room for those folks that aren't familiar with it.
Well, the urgency room is a medical facility that offers a wide range of medical services. We treat everything from minor cuts and scrapes to very serious complaints such as chest and abdominal pain. We have ability to do x-rays and CT scans. Every person is evaluated by a emergency trained provider, either an emergency medicine doctor or one of our specially trained advanced practice providers, such as a nurse practitioner or physician assistant.
And besides here in Venice Heights, you have some other locations as well?
Yes, so Egan and Woodbury are our other 2 locations in the Twin Cities.
So if someone wants more information about the urgency room or about what they should do with their child if they become sick and things like that?
Our website is a really great resource. It tells you about our services. It also has some information about common medical complaints that we see and when to bring your child in.
Well, Dr. Kristi Trussell, it's been a pleasure to have you with us, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be back with more on Inside Healthcare right after this.
Oh, what's this?
Welcome back to Inside Healthcare. There are changes coming in 2019 to Medicare cost plans that could affect more than 370,000 people living in Minnesota. Could that be you? We'll find out. We're talking with Joe Ward and also Char Franey with Wellness 50 Plus. Get that title in there. So what are these changes all about with the cost plans and what does this mean?
Well, Woodbury Wellness 50 is part of a project from the Vital Aging Network that's basically a movement led by 50-year-olds and so on to help improve the health and well-being of people in our age group. And one of the things that we've done, I mean, you interviewed, I think, Mark Skye some time ago. And
I believe that was earlier this year, yeah.
Yes, and there's a program that was done in the Phillips neighborhood that's been very successful in bringing community people together.
So we're bringing it to the East Metro now?
And now we're bringing it to the East Metro, and Lynn Price and Barb Rose have been instigators of that and getting that started. And we have a nice team, Jim Varpness, Char Franey, of course, Vivian Latimer Tannehill, Jim Huber, and Sharon Goodyear are working on this. But our team is focusing on what are the projects that could affect our community. And basically, there's 10,000 baby boomers every year that reach age 65. 69% of Minnesotans are, a little bit overweight and so on. That's an issue. 45% have 2 or more chronic conditions. 75% of healthcare spending is on people with chronic conditions.
Absolutely.
So the spending and the cost and so on is a concern for everyone, and we want to improve that. So that's what Wellness 50 is all about.
And you're just citizens from the community?
And we're just volunteers from the community.
Yeah.
We focus on things like healthy eating, physical, social activity, healthy thinking, feeling, being, and prevention of chronic situations. Well, anyway, our local team, which is just getting started, learned of these changes to Medicare that you were talking about.
Very
and actually,
alarming,
it's not Medicare itself. It's changes of something called the Medicare cost plan. And as you pointed out, that covers 370,000 Minnesotans. And it seems to be kind of a unique program in Minnesota. I don't understand all the details of how this came to be so concentrated in Minnesota, but it's changing. And you may recall with Medicare, there's a Part A, which covers hospital, a Part B, which covers medical, a Part D, which covers prescription drugs. But there's this thing called supplemental health, or Part C, and you've heard of Medicare Advantage or Part C. But there's also a thing called Medigap, which allows you to buy supplemental insurance. And then there have been cost programs. And cost programs were kind of a blend or a hybrid between the Advantage or HMO approach and straight Medicare. And straight Medicare, of course, pays for 80% of all your costs, and you can take it anywhere. If you're in an HMO, you're limited to the network.
So the changes specifically apply to which group of this then?
The changes apply to the cost program, this hybrid program I'm talking about. It's going away. And there's 370,000 Minnesotans who have that. So there's some key choices they're going to have to make within the next few months. And we just thought that it would be important that people know that, so that they're not just defaulted into whatever the nearest insurance company moves them to, because there's a wealth of choice there, and we want them to have that.
So are there certain options that are available to people, or?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, everyone over 65 is probably inundated in their mailboxes,
I bet,
with all sorts of information from several different insurance companies.
We just got one this weekend.
Oh, another one, huh?
And it
Exactly.
says the same kind of thing, but there's options. You can do a Medicare supplement insurance plan, which might be the right one for you, in which there's no network and there's no referrals required, and it's not an HMO, it just works with standard Medicare A, B, and D. Or you can do other programs like the Medicare Advantage, which has been called Part C, and there are other options as well.
So you're getting all this material in the mail and maybe even phone calls too.
Correct.
So how do you know if this pertains to you? What do you need to do?
Well, thank you for the question. That's the heart of what we're doing. We're conducting 3 non-commercial seminars in Woodbury for folks in the Woodbury or the Woodbury area. They're going to be October 18th, 25, and 26. And they will be covering, and the things you will take away from that is who is affected? Are you affected? And what are the options available to you and your family? And what resources do you need in order to
And these are free
accomplish those? These are no
seminars,
cost.
information?
There is a registration required. Spaces are limited.
And they're not trying to sell any particular
We're
plan
not
or
selling
anything
anything
like
to
that?
anybody.
It's actually put on by the senior linkage line, so which is a
lot of
part
people are
of
familiar
the
with
state
that.
of Minnesota.
Right.
And so it's totally non-commercial, as in you're not going to get a pitch from an insurance company.
Right. That's
You'll
important.
just get the facts.
So if someone is interested in attending one of the informational seminars, how do
you
they
can-
go about doing that?
You register by, and this I think is
It'll be on the screen
one
then,
of the
too.
things on the screen. There's an email address. It's called wellness50.woodbury@gmail.com. And you just send a request to attend one of these, and you will get a reply back with the details of where they are.
Well, great information for our viewers to know about. Very important. So thank you.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you.
Joe and
Really
Char.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Appreciate
Thank
you taking time out to be with us.
You got it.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you so much. And still ahead, we're going to talk about a fundraiser called Bash for Brains. We'll tell you all about it when we come back.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, and athlete because a kidney transplant gave him a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as a donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Two sisters have started a unique fundraiser for the Twin Cities to End Alzheimer's, the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and the Alzheimer's Association. And this fundraiser is very personal for them, and we're pleased to have with us Leah Huxtable and Eva Thompson.
Hi.
And I said you are sisters. And maybe before we talk a little bit about your fundraiser, Bash for Brains, you can tell us, why is this personal for you guys?
Yeah, so it is very personal to us. We have a lot of Alzheimer's in our family. Our mother, Lucy, was diagnosed in 2011 with early onset Alzheimer's disease, and she passed away in 2015 at the end of September, so we're coming up on that 3-year anniversary. At the time that she was diagnosed, we didn't really know what else to do because Alzheimer's disease doesn't have any prevention, treatment, or cure. And so we decided the best thing that we could do was start raising money, and that's what we did, and we've been working on it ever since. So.
Wow, that's really wonderful that you're doing that. you know.
Yeah, so then her second year with the living with the disease, she moved in with my family and me, and in Woodbury actually, and so I took on the role of primary care provider for her, and we walked a very tough road dealing with that. And like Eva said, she died in 2015 and she was only 65 years old. So doing this work obviously has become incredibly personal for us and brings a lot of meaning to our lives to be able to kind of carry on her spirit in a way. So
Very tough. So I appreciate you sharing. And your mom, a little bit about your mom. What was,
her name was Lucy Thompson.
you don't want to, you know, she was more than just having this disease at the end of her life.
Yeah, she was a wonderful teacher, obviously mother to us, grandmother to our children, which we feel is really to their greatest detriment that they don't get to have her. But as far as being a teacher is concerned, she taught 4th grade right up until her diagnosis and had to actually retire early because of it. And she had a whole lot left to do and a lot left to give children who needed her in the district she worked. So yeah, certainly there was a whole lot more to her than just this disease, and we appreciate you asking.
So this is your 6th year for having your event, Bash for Brains. Tell us all about it.
So the Bash for Brains, 6th annual Bash for Brains will be held this Saturday at Leah's home in Woodbury. It's an event where we have tons of silent auction and raffle prizes, live music, drinks, food. It's just a usually very, very fun night. We've been blessed with good weather every single year, so we're hoping that that will happen again on Saturday. We've raised over $100,000 with this event.
That is
in the last
incredible.
5.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
So we are keeping our fingers crossed for another successful year. We're hoping that this will be the biggest one to date.
Yes.
Wow. And then you're also trying to get a grant as well to help. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so this year will be the first year that we will be doing something secondarily with regards to the fundraising at the Bash. We'll be doing a fund a need to try to seed a grant that is being put together for us by the Woodbury Community Foundation. And the idea is that we can make really some impact on the community members in Woodbury, specifically with regards to respite care. It's a part of the disease that people don't often know, but the caregivers experience incredible burnout, and it's a very long, trying process. And so respite care is something that can make a really big impact in caregivers' lives as well as the patient themselves, but it's very expensive, and so we're trying to seed this grant so that the Woodbury Community Foundation can help us then provide respite care for those who are struggling to care for their loved ones with Alzheimer's and dementia.
That'll be really nice. Good luck on getting that.
Thank you.
And then if someone's interested in attending the Bash, how do they go about doing that? And if they're not able to be there, how can they still contribute if they want to be involved with it?
Yeah, like Eva said, it's this weekend, Saturday, September 8th. We would love to have you. It is a public event, even though it's held in a private backyard, a couple of backyards actually. And we would really, really love anyone who's been touched by the disease or otherwise to join us. You can get more information at bashforbrains.com.
And if you can't attend, there is still an option to bid on silent auction items remotely. So that option is
awesome.
available if you go on and register yourself through BidPal, which the link to that is available on our website as well.
Final comments to our viewers about why they should support what you're doing. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you very much. We, you know, Alzheimer's is one of those diseases that affects so many. It's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, and the more we do to fund it, the better off we will all be with regards to research and caregiver support.
You
So
foresee that day that there's a cure for this?
we're hoping. The Alzheimer's Association calls it looking for the first survivor, so
They're working really, really hard.
really hard. So,
Well, thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you
Eva
for having
and Leah,
us.
thank you
Thank
for
you,
being
Jodi.
with us, and good luck with your event and your
Thank you.
fundraiser. Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Still ahead, our favorite chef is joining us, Chef Angelo, so stay with us.
Charu has no choice. She and millions like her walk miles a day for dirty water. Together, we can end their walk by providing clean water. Because when you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
And welcome back to Inside Healthcare. And as you can see, we are now in the kitchen with Chef Angelo Montes with Solomio Ristorante in Woodbury. And we're going to be talking about Chef Fest. I think it's like the 4th annual Chef Fest that's coming up at the old Prom Center. Has a new name, new ownership. It's now Mintahoe Inwood Oaks in Oakdale, and you're going to be one of the chefs again. You're going to have a dozen chefs. Tell us all about it. What's happening this year with Chef Fest?
Well, first of all, nice to see you again, Jodi.
Absolutely.
I'm very
Ciao.
happy to be here and represent American Culinary Federation. I'm a Woodbury citizen. That means I represent Woodbury Community
Congratulations
Foundation
on your
too.
citizenship this year.
And this is my first
Congratulations.
year
Yes.
as American. I'm going to do Chef Fest. All
Oh,
right?
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very happy about.
And it smells delicious in here.
Yeah, today we will present a little food, and we will talk about our raising money for the community and for the students at the American Culinary Federation. But let's start with the food first.
Absolutely. Let's start with the food.
Try to teach the people how to cook some good food.
Okay.
Right?
So what do you got here?
Well, today we will do frutti di mare linguini pescatore. Pescatore means fishman.
Fish, yeah.
Right? Well, we put it inside the frying pan. We got already mussels, clams, shrimp, a little salt. We put it now. And what I suggest that the people do all the time, it's prepare all ingredients in a perfect amount and the way. The only thing you can do is put it together and, of course, drink a glass of wine.
Absolutely.
All right?
And this probably a white wine then? With all the fish?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, white wine will be great. A Pinot Grigio, some kind of dry Chardonnay.
All right.
Well, I put here the ingredients here in the way it's easy for everybody to understand. And normally I put the ingredients in the way you want to put inside of the frying pan. In this way, we have a couple hundreds of artichoke. We have a garlic, white wine for the glaze of the food, some of the stock, seafood stock. This is a lobster stock.
Okay.
Fresh marinated tomato, basil, garlic, and my marinara. Of course, linguine pasta. And for appetizer today, I prep a little bruschetta.
Ooh, awesome. Love that.
Well-
and then do you put some olive oil in here, or no? Is that
Yes.
too?
The olive oil with the seafood that was already in.
Okay.
That means what are we going to do now?
Okay.
Put a little garlic, see, and then we don't need this actually if you prepare in this way.
Okay.
And you put the artichoke carrots, still cooking, and then the wine. When the frying pan is really hot,
Oh, yeah.
then it's when you want to glaze the wine. The wine kind of give a nice flavor of the whole dish. I put it all over, and the basis of the seafood, it's pretty much ready. Okay.
Okay.
Now we create the sauce. This is very special sauce. It's a seafood light red sauce, pescatore. We put a little bit of seafood stock, my marinade. Tomato,
Delicious
basil,
seasoning, yes.
and marinara. Okay, we wait a couple minutes here.
And then how long
would
would
be
you?
ready.
Oh, sorry. How long would you have it in the pan then for?
Well, the seafood is cooked. The sauce is already
So you're just really warming
ready.
things
Sauce. We pretty much warming up here. Okay. Now, in the meantime, we will put the pasta, the linguine pasta. I already pre-cooked the pasta. Normally, you cook the pasta 9 minutes.
Okay.
That will be just fine. With the pasta, in this case, will be just
How do you
like a
tell?
10 seconds.
You know the question. How do you know when it's ready?
Well, the pasta gotta have a bite. You can see it's now
So you don't
overcooked.
want it too hard, not
Yeah.
too soft.
Yeah, not too soft for sure. A lot
Absolutely.
of chefs said, you take the pasta, put it in the ceiling, stay there, is good. No, gotta be al dente. Al dente means you gotta have a bite. You gotta enjoy the flavor of the pasta. See, the sauce is very much ready right now. What I'm doing, the pasta is ready too. I'm gonna put a little water for making the sauce a little bit watering.
Okay.
See, it's beautiful. And this dish is ready. Again, in the Chef Fest, we have around 40 chefs. We have a 12 captain chef with 10 stations.
And you
So
go around
much
from
food.
table to table. There's too much
Oh
food.
yeah, a lot of people watching us now,
But it's
right?
all for a good cause. Good. It's good
Absolutely.
food, great food.
What is the most important, the great thing why you have to come it over? It's make sure you're coming over and you know it's a lot of food, a lot of chefs. We sold out last year. That means check online at the tickets and make sure you are you not stay out because we sold out last year, like I said, right?
And entertainment again with Phil Thompson,
Yeah.
internationally known
Yeah.
musician from the area.
Yeah, it's a lot, like we say, it's a lot of food chefs. And normally people want to see chef on TV, but here you got an opportunity to see all these
And
chefs.
some of the money goes for the
Enjoy.
Culinary Federation Foundation, as well as Woodbury Community Foundation, which is going to have some community grants this year as well. 4
Yes.
grants for communities, events and things like
Yeah,
that.
and we'll be happy to see all of you. Make sure you make this,
So the date is Sunday, November 18th
yeah?
at 5:30 p.m. at the newly named Min Tahoe Inwood Oaks, formerly known as the Prom Center. That's been there for a long time. So
Yeah.
have to come and see the newly remodeled. It's beautiful. It looks like a new place. So
Yeah, well, buon appetito,
Buon appetito.
and come over for our wonderful food. Mwah!
thank you, Angelo. And we'd like to thank you, everyone, for joining us. We hope you see you next time on Inside Healthcare. See you then, everyone.